PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, that is the question. What is going on, guys and girls? It is GhostRobo, and welcome to PS4 vs. XB1 September edition. If you can believe it, we are only about 12 short weeks away from ushering in the next generation of video game hardware, and I cannot freaking wait. I'd say it feels just like yesterday we welcomed in the last round of systems, but it sure as heck doesn't. It's been 8 long years, and I am so ready for some new blood in this industry. But the pressing question is, which system should you be targeting to pick up? Now, last time we talked on this subject, it was right after E3, and I recommended the PlayStation 4. Are things the same? Are they different? Let's find out. Since then, the PS4 has an official release date of November 15th in America and November 29th in Europe. The Xbox One is still a little nebulous, but they're targeting a late November date. My spidey sense tells me it's going to be November 22nd. It could be a little earlier, it could be a little later, but basically anywhere within November 10th to November 27th is about where you're going to get it. They're going to come out before Thanksgiving, before Black Friday in America. We know that for sure. In terms of games and stuff, not a whole lot new has been announced, and they've kind of emphasized their focus. Microsoft is very big on exclusives and big money spending AAA lockdowns, and Sony is making a humongous indie push that I think is pretty darn cool. Now, Microsoft has also spent a lot of time in trying to reverse the negative press they had back around E3, climbing out of that hole of negative PR surrounding the whole DRM online issue. And while I felt that the whole digital future, that was very cool and going to lead to some really awesome innovations in the gaming industry, nobody else really seemed to feel that way, and so Microsoft reversed course on just about every policy, making these two systems closer than ever before. And I think that, honestly, the race is closer than ever before. Sure, Sony is leading in every pre-order count and probably still in the hearts of many gamers, but I think Microsoft is really coming at you pretty hard, and a lot of that has to do with Titanfall. Titanfall is a juggernaut. Titanfall is amazing, and everybody seems to agree. Anyone that I've talked to that has played Titanfall says it's fantastic. Anybody that I read in terms of games journalists and online sites says it's fantastic. Anybody I listen to in terms of podcasters says it's fantastic. That game is going to be a game changer, but it's a game changer that does not debut until early 2014. So if we focus on launch and what system you should pick up in November, it basically boils down to 3 main categories for me. Now, the first one is exclusives. Which are you more inclined to enjoy? For PlayStation 4, Killzone Shadowfall still seems to be the knockout title across any launch game for both Xbox and PlayStation. I think the game is gorgeous. It's by far the prettiest launch game. It has the most next-gen, like, instant appeal, whiz-bang look to it, for sure. Like, that thing is just gorgeous. I love the direction they're taking the single player. For people who weren't as big of a fan of the linearity of 2 and 3, you know, Shadowfall borrows a little bit from Crysis in terms of open levels, multiple objectives. You can complete them in different orders, and the multiplayer looks like so much fun. I've already been a fan of guerrilla games for a number of years, and I think this one is really going to deliver. They also have Knack, which I did not enjoy at E3, but I've heard from some people who have played more of the game that it can appeal to a wider range of people. Hopefully that one comes together nicely. They also have Drive Club, and then a bunch of indies. This is where things get kind of interesting, because Sony hasn't announced any new major project since E3. You know, they have The Order. They didn't even show that at Gamescom. They didn't show that at PAX, and we've heard nothing about a new God of War, a new Uncharted. Nada. Zilch, nothing, which I think is very odd. Their entire focus has been on indie, which is super cool. They've locked up some great developers, some awesome games. It's going to be an exclusive home to play things like Rogue Legacy and Fez and blah in terms of the console space. But where are the goods? I feel like Sony has fallen behind a little bit in terms of announcing big major games. They keep touting they have so many projects in development for PS4, but where are they? And what makes me need to buy a PS4? All these indie games are great. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a great direction for the industry to take, but I could probably play them all on my PS3 or my PC or my Vita. I don't need a PlayStation 4 for those games, and I was really hoping Sony would showcase something that said, you must buy a next-generation system, because for us to spend $400, like, there has to be a major pull, right? And for right now, that is going to have to be Killzone Shadowfall. Infamous Second Son is going to be their killer app come early 2014, releasing, in fact, in February. I think that game will be mind-blowing. I think it's a Game of the Year contender already, but it's not out at launch, similar to Titanfall. If we shift over to the Xbox spectrum, they've done a pretty good job of keeping the momentum going, I think, with exclusives. Have they announced anything new and really big? Not so much. They announced a new Fable game, which actually sounds really cool, where one person is kind of the dungeon master controlling the enemies and stuff, and the other people are cooperating to take them down. But for the most part, you're still looking at Dead Rising 3, which, in spite of some frame rate issues, is shaping up pretty nicely. Forza 5, which is gorgeous, and then Killer Instinct, which is sort of fallen off my radar, but I'm sure there's some people that are interested in it. So they haven't really announced as many indie partnerships, but they have sort of re-emphasized that, hey, we like indies too. They've made it a little bit more of an open platform to develop for and to make money on and all those sorts of things. So I think they'll get some people. They have a lot of cash to throw at companies and individual developers, so you know they're going to lock up some things. And of course, multi-platform, you know, your AC4s, your Watch Dogs, they're basically going to play virtually the same on both platforms. And because they're launching later in November, you're basically going to be able to get anything for either system really close together. So it boils down to Killzone, Shadowfall, and Knack, and Drive Club versus Forza, Killer Instinct, and Dead Rising 3, which is the same battle I spoke of back at E3. And no giant new projects have been announced. So if you want to think a little farther into the future, I'd say you got to look at if you're going to be a Titanfall player. You know, Titanfall is going to be a major game. That is going to be a much talked about, hugely hyped title, and possibly a game changer. It's from the amazing team, formerly Infinity Ward, now Respawn, who made the most popular Modern Warfare, and it's going to deliver. I'm convinced of that now from impressions, from what I've heard, from people I specifically personally know. It's going to be a big deal. And so if you are one that really wants to play that, that has to figure into your decision, because it's not going to be out on PS4 anytime soon. Some people have talked that it's a timed exclusive, yada yada, but it's not coming any soon. Microsoft has paid a lot of money to lock that thing down. Will Titanfall 2 be on PS4? Probably, but Titanfall 1 is going to be locked down on the Microsoft home console for quite some time. It's also available for PC if that is your inkling. So, thinking future, you've got Infamous Second Son versus Titanfall. You've got Killzone versus Dead Rising up front. Kind of which exclusives kind of pull you a little bit more, which encourages you to drop a bunch of money. That has to be your first consideration. For me, I think Killzone is going to be the standout title of the launch day for either system. Next, we're going to look at price point, and Microsoft has not dropped their price. Some people thought perhaps they would or eliminate the Kinect, but they've stuck by Kinect. They've stuck by their $500 price point. In Europe, you know, they're giving away FIFA for free, which is a huge deal because that almost equalizes the prices, almost. But here in America, there's been no bundles announced, and so I got to say that the $100 value that you're saving from PlayStation 4 that could basically be used on another controller in a game, you know, you can pick up a controller for your buddy and Killzone Shadowfall basically for that price difference. That's a huge win for Sony right now. And if anything is going to make me lean towards picking the PS4, it's that, because if they're virtually the same at launch, you know, if I don't really have a super powered preference for an exclusive, then price is going to be a big difference where I can get a game and a controller. So I think Sony has a significant edge there, and you have to factor that in. $500 is a lot of money. $400 is still a ton of money. And so where are your dollars going to best be spent? And then sort of the third thing is how much can you wait? Because it seems like Sony is going to come out first. And for me, when new systems come out, I basically turn into a crazy little kid and I want it now. So if I had to pick, I'd go with PlayStation 4 because I want it first, and it seems like they're going to come out first. I also think Killzone Shadowfall is going to be the best launch game. I also like the $100 price point. Now, earlier this year, I'd say Sony had about a 20 percentage point lead on Microsoft in my mind, from my opinion, when I recommended the PlayStation 4 back in June. Now I think that difference is about 7%. I think Microsoft has done a lot to creep closer. Their exclusives are really powerful. Titanfall is going to be massive. And I like the way that they've tried, in many ways, to be very consumer-friendly. You know, reversing policy, even though it's not my personal preference. It was a lot of people's for them to do that. And trying to court some indies and at least realize, hey, we need to step our game up. I think they've done a nice job of that. Sony not announcing any new projects is significant. I really don't know what the pull to buy a PlayStation 4 is beyond Killzone and Infamous. Like, where are your future projects? Please show us now. They still have Tokyo Game Show. Perhaps they'll debut something there, but most likely not. And we're going to have to wait and see what they have to deliver. Is there things for them to show? I'm sure. Why are they not showing them yet? I don't know. So I think Microsoft's gained a little bit of ground there. And then, you know, just with kind of the online space, and this is sort of the fourth piece of the puzzle that may or may not matter to you. Where are your friends going to be playing? Where is your community? Is it going to be people transitioning from 360 to Xbox One? People going from PS Plus on PS3 to PS Plus on PS4? That matters a lot. Where are your friends going to be playing? And there's sort of the hidden option, which is not to buy either. And I think that's perfectly valid this fall. You know, you're going to be able to play GTA and Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs and all these great games on your current systems. Mario, Zelda, DK if you're a Wii U person. you don't really need to buy a system. So if you can't afford one, if you're still undecided, don't feel too bad about sticking with current gen. I think almost more so than ever before, because there's so many cross-gen games, it's okay to stick with 360 or PS3 this fall. I really, really believe that. Until Infamous and Titanfall come out and they sort of more define which system is going to take the lead, which system is going to be, what and what, I think it's okay to stick with what you have right now. You're going to have plenty more money to spend on stuff like Arkham Origins, and that might be your best preference. And if that's what you choose to do, that's perfectly fine. I don't think you should feel ashamed about it. Overall, though, I think the PlayStation 4 still has the lead at launch. Titanfall is going to shift things up drastically, and it'll be interesting to see where these two systems stand come March of next year. Right now, though, I give this slight edge to PS4. I was very confident in recommending PS4 earlier, and now that is a little bit shakier. I still say PS4, shakier in terms of Xbox One versus PS4. I still recommend both systems wholeheartedly. I'm buying both of them. I'm going to bring you guys awesome coverage of every system, every game, so you have the most balanced input and impressions on both. But I still think that PS4 is the more recommended system for me on launch day. I think Xbox One is great. You can't go wrong with either. But in terms of saving $100, Killzone Shadowfall probably being really, really cool, and the fact that you'll get it first, PlayStation 4 is probably my platform of choice. Quick note, though, if you are going to be upgrading, both GameStop and Amazon have a promo, I prefer Amazon, of course, where you can trade in your Xbox 360 or PS3 game for the PS4 or Xbox One counterpart for only $10, which is a great deal. So say you pick up Call of Duty Ghosts on November 5th for Xbox 360, you buy an Xbox One later in the month, you want to get the next-gen version, you trade it into Amazon, give them $10, and they will send you the brand new next-gen version, which I think is a great promotion and really encourages people to make that jump. But like I said, if you can't make the jump, if you can't justify the big bills for this fall, that's okay. You're going to still be fine and have a lot of great games. And I wanted to make sure I let people know that because I think it's viable this time. Past generations, there was always so many new games that you could exclusively get on those systems, but here things are different. And so don't feel bad about sticking with things. PS4, though, is my recommendation. What are you guys leaning towards? Are you leaning towards PS4? PS4 is my recommendation. Are you leaning towards PS4? Are you leaning towards Xbox One? So many numbers, so many letters. Sometimes it gets confusing, but I'm curious to see where you guys are planning on putting your money down. Let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button if you're excited for next gen. Add your favorites if you're as pumped as I am, which is so stupid excited. We're only like 11 or 12 weeks away to having these things in our hands, which is so cool and so exciting, and I cannot wait. It's going to be an exciting next few months. The systems are closer together than ever before, but overall, I still stand by my PlayStation 4 recommendation, and as of right now, that is the GhostRobo seal of approval for what I recommend for you to pick up on launch day. Can't go wrong with either. Stick with your friends and your community. Consider the price point, look at the exclusives, and make the best darn choice possible. Until that time, though, guys and girls, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Till next time, we will see you all later.